Want to be sure you're getting the most out of your retirement for all the years of your retirement? That's the primary goal of More Living with Jim Brogan and our Dollars and Cents segment, where we provide you with an important financial tip that will help positively impact the quality of your life in retirement. And now here's Jim with this week's Dollars and Cents tip.
Well, we got tax day right around the corner. A week from Monday, April the 18th this year. 15th is a Friday. Normally, unless tax day is on a Saturday or Sunday, it's always on the 15th. But it is a holiday in Washington, D.C., and by law, we cannot require people to file their taxes on a holiday in Washington, D.C., so we have 3 extra days. I want to talk about taxes, but I'd rather talk about the difference in tax planning versus tax preparation, because tax planning is a much more powerful way to plan for taxes and to save on taxes. Tax preparation is where you go back into the past and you look at numbers, you look at things that have already happened. You've already got your 1099s, you've already got your W-2s, all those numbers are already there. There's only so much you can do with the tax code to save on your taxes because they're going to show up because you've already got those 1099s and W-2s. Tax planning is where we look forward and we say, can we be smarter about how we do things so those 1099s particularly are maybe a lot lower? Maybe our W-2s are a lot lower if we're in retirement. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But it's repositioning things to be smarter about how we do things so the numbers that even show up on your 1040 are lower. Because your 1099s are lower, maybe even your W-2s. How do you do that? And I'd say the number one, the two biggest areas. Number one is how we invest our money from a tax perspective. Now, what we do in our IRA or retirement account doesn't really matter. There is no tax on any of that money till it comes out of the account, so we don't worry about tax implications. But on your non-IRA type investments, you very much have to be aware of the tax consequences of holding those investments. The biggest area we see this is in mutual funds. Mutual fund, to say mutual fund and tax efficient in the same sentence is almost an oxymoron. Certainly some mutual funds are much less tax efficient than others. But mutual funds, by and large, are not real tax efficient because every year in December, typically they'll spit off not only dividend distributions, but capital gains distributions. And even if you reinvest those distributions, you're going to show up on your tax return as money that's taxed. So, if you're smarter about how you pick mutual funds, for example, outside of your IRAs, and really be smarter about tax efficiency with all of your investments, you can dramatically reduce the 1099s that you get every year. That's going to save you on your federal income tax, and it's going to save you on the Hall income tax here in Tennessee, because all mutual fund distributions are subject to the Hall tax. The only exception is if you have a Tennessee municipal bond fund. Every other mutual fund is subject to the Hall tax. So you get those numbers off the return. That's much more powerful saving on your taxes. The other biggest area is if you're retired or you're getting ready to retire is how do you draw your income in retirement? Where do you pull it from? Above your pension and Social Security, if you're going to start living off of your life savings and your life savings starts producing that income, where do you pull it from? Because some things you take money from, every dollar is taxed and shows up on your 1040. Other places you take income from, there's no tax issue. It doesn't even show up. You don't even get a 1099. Other places, maybe you take, $4,000 a month, but only $1,000 of that's taxed. So you want to be smarter about how you draw income in retirement. And those are the two ways, for the most part, we can make the biggest impact on taxes. And tax planning, looking forward to the future, is a much more effective way to save on your Uncle Sam payments than it is just tax preparation, which is looking back in the past at things that have already happened.
And that's our Dollars and Cents segment for this week. You can find this week's Dollars and Cents segment and others by visiting BroganFinancial.com.